U.S. President Joe Biden came to Israel for 3 days on his Mideast trip. Here's a look at his visit and what it means for the Jewish state and the region. On day one of President Biden's trip, he declared his loyalty to Israel.
The connection between the Israeli people and the American people is bone deep. It's bone deep.
The meeting between President Biden and acting Prime Minister Yair Lapid resulted in what they call the Jerusalem Declaration, a strategic partnership between the two countries. Prime Minister Lapid believes the relationship will affect the region.
From here, from Jerusalem, the eternal capital of the State of Israel, you will travel to Saudi Arabia. Your visit to Saudi Arabia is important for Israel and for the entire region, for our security and for the future and prosperity of the Middle East.
The Jerusalem Declaration is seen as the centerpiece for Biden's visit. While it includes wording about using all elements of national power to prevent Iran from becoming a nuclear power, some question whether the Biden administration has been confronting Iran or courting Iran.
We are 18 months into the U.S. administration, into Joe Biden's presidency. He has been engaging the Iranian regime in the Vienna talks, trying to re-enter the 2015 JCPOA Iran deal to no success. This is the common link throughout the region with the moderate states, that they are all being threatened by the Iranian regime. And the real question hanging over his head is if he's going to address this threat in a serious way.
Israel's Channel 12 asked Biden about former statements that he would not allow Iran to get a nuclear weapon.
Does that also mean, sir, that you would use force against Iran? Is that what that means?
That was the last resort, yes.
CBN News contributor Ellie Koenig points out that since Biden entered the White House, Iran has only moved closer to getting a nuclear bomb.
Exactly what's taken place in these last 18 months as the U.S. has been engaging in these indirect negotiations through Russia and China, believe it or not, with the Iranian regime. The Iranians have advanced their nuclear capabilities. They've also advanced their ballistic missile testing. They are just becoming more of a threat to the region and also to the United States.
In addition to Iran, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is the other major issue. For the first time, a U.S. president visited East Jerusalem, sending a signal to Israel that part of the city could be the future capital of a Palestinian state. A location critics say undermines Israeli sovereignty.
Joe Biden has indicated, or the White House has indicated, that he will be visiting a site in Jerusalem, Israel's capital, where he will not permit Israeli officials to attend, where he will meet with the enemies of Israel, those who continue to be terrorist enemies of Israel, and not allow the Israeli officials to be there. That's actually outrageous.
ACLJ senior advisor Jeff Balaban says President Biden brings his own history to this week's visit.
As Joe Biden did when he was vice president, and as President Obama did, it treats the presence of Jews in Jerusalem, in Judea and Samaria, as though Jews are interlopers, as though Jews are occupiers, as though Jews don't belong there. In fact, as though Jews are criminals.
After his visit to Eastern Jerusalem, Biden traveled to Bethlehem, where he met with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas and advocated for a two-state solution.
Two states along the 1967 lines were mutually agreed to swaps remain the best way to achieve equal measure of security, prosperity, freedom, and democracy for the Palestinians as well as Israelis.
After Israel comes perhaps the most challenging part of his Mideast trip, the president going to Saudi Arabia, a country he once called a pariah due to its human rights record and connections to the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
My position on Khashoggi has been so clear. If anyone doesn't understand it in Saudi Arabia or anywhere else, then they haven't been around for a while.
Biden, though, made a point of wanting more positive relations with the country, even as he admits the U.S. left a vacuum in the region.
The reason I'm going to Saudi Arabia, though, is much broader, is to promote U.S. interest. Promote U.S. interest in a way that I think we have an opportunity to reassert what I think we've made a mistake of walking away from, our influence in the Middle East.
With the United States of America distances ourselves from other people and other countries that should be stronger friends and stronger allies, they go elsewhere. And when they go elsewhere, there aren't other good friendly countries that are waiting with open arms. Saudi has an enormous amount of resources, an attractive prize on the world stage. So whether it's China or Russia or others, that's where they're going to run to. And therefore it behooves us to hug them closely and to enhance the relationship with them, even if we've got challenges in that relationship. To distance them is only going to propel them towards our enemies and our foes.
The Israeli government approved a deal that may pave the way for relations between Saudi Arabia and Israel, while Saudi Arabia also granted flyover rights to Israel. When Biden does land in Saudi Arabia, he will find a different Middle East. John Medved is the founder of Our Crowd, Israel's largest venture capital platform.
Really good news recently in this part of the world has been the Abraham Accords, which was so smartly named, because what it has resulted in is this incredible release of energy between the children of Abraham.
Medved wrote about this new Middle East on his blog on LinkedIn and says the sand curtain in the Middle East is coming down.
And when this sand curtain, which separated us from our neighbors, sort of dissipates, when this comes down, starts to come down, it's not coming back up.